everybody and welcome to Board Game Inquisition, where we're pretty obsessed with board game collections and collecting. So once a month we do these monthly roundups to kind of look at our collection and analyse how it's been changing in terms of what games have been added, what games we got rid of, what we've been playing, and of course the games we've been lusting after too. And I invite you guys to play along at home. I'm kind of fascinated by hearing about what other people are playing, so I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you're a fellow content creator, why not do your own monthly roundup video and kind of take stock of your own collection? So my good friend Board Game Rants, who focuses mainly on solo content and does amazing videos, also started doing a monthly roundup, and it was really exciting to see what games he'd been playing or had been interested in. So you should totally go and check out his videos. So this monthly roundup, September's been a really busy month. Has anyone else felt that, or is it just me? I don't know, there seem to be a lot of things going on, and so I didn't get to play as many board games as I would have liked. So this kind of monthly roundup will probably be a little bit more personal than most, so if you're not interested in hearing that, you should, I don't know, probably go watch another video, because I think board games are a personal thing. I think they're part of your life, you know, and so they kind of end up intermingling a lot for me. But we'll get into that a little bit kind of as I go along. I'm hoping it'll just naturally happen so I don't have to sit and do a block of, you know, here's life stuff, here's board game stuff. Really, it's all together. So let's start with where we always start with. So in the month of September, what new games did I acquire? So as you may or may not know, I'm preparing to go to Essen, which is getting, horribly close. I've never been before, and it's a really big deal for me to go. So much of a big deal that I'm actually only going for one day. I'm making a day trip from Ireland to go to Germany just to go to Essen on the Thursday and then come back the same night. And that's been causing me quite a lot of anxiety, right? So I don't know how many of you are aware, but that I'm not exactly a well person. I don't have a job. I spend pretty much all of my time at home. I find it difficult to leave the house. I get a lot of anxiety on top of like a million other things. And so this trip is really a huge deal, and while everyone else would probably be really excited about it, and don't get me wrong, I am excited, it's bringing up all sorts of things for me that are making me kind of sicker rather than better, and I'm having to learn to cope with those. So this month has kind of been, a mix of these things. And also because I'm going to Essen, well, I'm saving money, right? Because you want to get games at Essen. And closer to the time, I'll do kind of a wish list of things that I'd love to acquire from Essen. And I also plan on bringing my camera and doing a little video log perhaps on the day. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. Other people seem to make video logs a lot. And I don't know, I've not really seen the appeal, but I do like the idea of documenting kind of my trip. So, back we get to games we've acquired this month. So you can see how I'm trying to frame this with all of the other things that have been happening. So the first game that we acquired this month, and I was really excited about because A, I really wanted to play this game, and B, it was very expensive to ship it here from the States. But I managed to win it in a competition on Twitter. I'm very kind Eurogamer girl, one of the game's designers, did a giveaway, and I managed to win, so woohoo, really excited. And this is, oh god, here goes pronunciation, Oaxaca. It's written on the back of the box, I practiced it a bit, Oaxaca. And it's a kind of it's a small kind of dice kind of manipulation game where you're creating crafts. The components are stunning, it's beautiful, it's super pretty. You have little Mexican meeples with the cutest stickers. And I haven't had a chance to play much of it yet. I've had one game. I'm one of these people that would never leave anything in shrink wrap. When a game arrives, I always want to play it at least once, just to get an idea for what it's about, what type of game it might be, when I might want to take it out again. And I would feel guilty if I got a new game and just left it sitting there. I don't think my brain would actually allow me to do that. So I've only had one game of Oaxaca so far. I really look forward to more. It's a wonderful kind of light little game, and I can't wait to photograph it. Do you ever get a game and you look at it and you're like, God, this is so pretty, I want to put it in pictures. So it's inspiring like that, and it's lovely. So, the first game. So the second game, and this one's kind of interesting, right? So I'll just come out and say it, and it's Gills of London. And this is from Tasty Minstrel Games. And what's baffled me about this game is its price. So we ordered this on Amazon for €10. I don't know what sort of game can be sold for €10 and make a profit, let alone, like, it's not a small game, it's a good medium-sized game. There's a good bit to it. And I looked up some reviews about it, and people said the game was okay, that there was a lot of symbology in it. And so I thought, well, if we've managed Race for the Galaxy, we can probably, you know, try anything. And despite the fact there was like a moratorium on buying games in our house, for the sake of a tenner, you know, you couldn't, you know, you said we'd try it out. Gills of London is a great game. I really don't understand why it's priced the way it is. Like, it basically, the idea is you're trying to control guilds in London. Yeah, I know, the title says it, but you've little meeples and you place them out using cards, and you claim the little areas on the board and you get points based on what you've claimed. It's very straightforward. Now, there is a lot of symbols to it. It comes with a big, you know, A4 sheet describing all of the symbols. And not all of the symbols on the cards are there. You have to sometimes find them in different sections, but we didn't find it actually that hard to manage. And despite having to look up the symbols frequently in the first, we've only played it twice, right, the 2 games we've played, I actually found it kind of fun looking up where the symbols were. It was like having a quest. It's like, what's this one mean? You know, this one looks like he's peeing a rainbow. What is it? And once you got the hang of one or two, you were mostly there. And the gameplay itself is really interesting. I love the way kind of the turns go. So your areas that you control will score if there's enough people there for it to score. It's actually a really satisfying and good game, and it was only a tenner. And I don't know why it was so cheap, but I definitely recommend more people look at it. I think that when what you perceive to be a full game, you know, not a party game or something like that, is very cheap, you instantly wonder what kind of quality of game you're getting. But this is from Tasty Minstrel Games. You know, that's a real publisher who makes real games. So I don't understand why this is the case. But I think in future I'll be more careful what I look at with cheaper games, because maybe there's other reasons going on behind them about, you know, why they're that price. Okay, so those are the only 2 games we bought this month. I did, however, acquire a bunch of games to review. Now, I wonder, should I be putting these in here, you know, as games to play, or games I've acquired this month. I don't know if it's interesting for you guys to hear kind of what the review copies were, but I'll kind of give them a little bit of a rundown, and then I'll probably, you know, I'll be creating a video about most of these in the near future, so you can hear more about them then, but I'll just give you a rough idea of what they are. So the first of the review games that arrived this month is called Possession, and it's from Crooked Tower Games. And it's a game where you are an evil demon and you're trying to possess villagers competitively with your friends in a little town. Artwork wise, the game is gorgeous to look at. Playing it is interesting. It needs some work on the rules. And the game's designers are working on that before its Kickstarter campaign, which is a really good positive for me. But it's been a kind of an interesting one. Do you ever see a game that has a ton of potential and it's nearly there? So that's what kind of Possession feels like to me. So I'm hoping the designers, you know, go the extra mile and, you know, bring it to its kind of full fruition. Second game for review this month is Masters of Get Town. This is a dice arena battling game. And when I say arena, I mean arena. You get a giant, like, Perspex arena. And it's super fun. You know, it's about kind of knocking over the numbers of your opponent in the arena, or landing in the right spots in the arena. You have little upgrades and special abilities. And it's just fun. I think that's the only way to put that in. It doesn't involve much brain power. Yeah, it's a little bit luck based, but it doesn't really feel like that because everyone's kind of doing the same thing. And it's definitely kind of dexterity based too. Really enjoyed that. I'm hoping I can get a couple of people around to play it as a larger group with me, because I think it would make a phenomenal party game. I can imagine people playing it with like a beer in one hand and their dice in the other, and everyone kind of roaring and cheering everybody on. So that's Masters of Get Town, and so both it and Possession should be coming to Kickstarter sometime within the next month or two. So keep your eyes out for those. Okay, then the next two games are incredibly special. So anybody who knows me or watches my videos knows I'm a huge fan of Emperor S4 games. They're my favourite publisher. I own all the games they've published, and I really enjoy them all. I don't know, there's something unique about their games that just gets me. And so they have 3 new releases coming out at Essen, which of course I was super excited about. They're top of my list of things to acquire. And then I was really fortunate in the fact Emperor S4 contacted me and asked me to do a review for 2 of these games. So I have both the Discovery, the Earl Voyage, and Realm of Sand. So it's part of the reason I was so sick this month is that when the minute they got in touch with me about this, I got really excited and really happy, and then ridiculously sad. I'm the sort of person who doesn't process good things particularly well, and this is a really big deal for me. You know, your favorite game publisher is reaching out to you to review their games, and I'm just a small channel and nobody like that. And it meant a lot to me that happened, but it just broke me. Basically, it's the only way to put it. This isn't the only time this happens. It seems to happen to me quite a bit with nice things on the internet. But I'm doing my best to learn how to deal with that better. I'm just not used to having so many nice little things. So that's another part of the reason I didn't play so many games this month. I was upset. It was all just a bit too much. That makes sense. So very quickly, and I'll tell you about these, and their reviews are going to be coming really soon. So the first, Discovery, the Earl Voyage, is basically like a trading game. You have a little ship, and it goes around and you get goods. You turn goods into money and money into victory points. It's a nice little kind of circle. It's a very small game, but it's beautiful. Oh, the cards are stunning. I love the little ships. I like how it plays. It's kind of like a light trading in the Mediterranean game. So very good so far. The second game is Realm of Sand. And it reminds me a little bit of something like Cottage Garden, where you are trying to make particular shapes that are buildings in a sense, and the more buildings you create, the more victory points you get. Yet again, only one game of this under my belt so far, but it was really fun. I have to say, we had a really good time with it. It was it was definitely very kind of puzzly, but also beautiful. Oh, it's really lovely how it's put together, and it's kind of unique as well the way you place the Tetris pieces. Normally, like if you've played Patchwork, you take the piece from the circle, you know, around the table, and you place it onto your board. In this case, you have shapes already, and you fill them in with smaller tiles, and you put back the original tile you had into the circle, so they never leave it, if that makes sense. So all tiles are available at all times. It's pretty clever. It's pretty fun. Look forward to playing more of that. So those are the games I've acquired this month. Still a good few there, so I got a lot of review copies this month, which is really exciting. Also terrifying, because you know you have to have time to play these games, and you want to play them properly, and you want to fully understand them before kind of forming an opinion about them, and that in itself can be difficult sometimes, especially, you know, when you're kind of on a time crunch. And with Essen coming up soon, I want to have kind of everything out of my way, so that after Essen I have time to kind of recover and chill and just play games I'd like to play. I feel like there's this horrible kind of divide between being a reviewer and being a player, or having, you know, your hobby be almost like a job. So I haven't had a chance to sit down and play any games I would like to play, you know, for what feels like a couple of weeks. And I don't want to say I'm burnt out or anything like that. I do think that I would just like a little bit of space to kind of enjoy my hobby on my own terms. But of course, it's really exciting seeing all these games and kind of getting to see how you feel about them and tell people about them. I love being able to tell you guys what I thought of a game. I hope it's useful. I'm not entirely sure if it is, but I think more information for people is always a better policy. So here we go. So next section is trades. So hopefully some of you know by now, I love trades. Trades are amazing. Take away the games I don't want to play and give me games I do want to play. Love me a good trade. So this month we've managed one trade, and it just snuck itself in at the end of the month. They always seem to happen at the end of the month, don't they? So we traded away Role Player and the expansion for Role Player, which is Monsters and Minions, I do believe. I made a review about this game actually a good bit of time ago, and while we enjoyed Role Player, I found it just fell flat after some time. Now, we have a lot of dice games. It's kind of scary how many dice games we've accidentally ended up with. And Role Player it just didn't compare. So we thought we may as well, you know, trade it away and see what we get instead. So instead of Role Player and expansion, we acquired Flam Rouge, which is the cycling racing game. I'm sure you've all heard of it by now. And Space, which is a tableau building dice rolling game, and I've played one game of each because the packages arrived yesterday, and per my rule, you know, new game, have to play it at least once. So I'll start with Space. So Space actually was really fun. It felt like a grown-up Machikoru. So you roll dice, and depending on what number you roll, something will happen with one of your spaceships. So you're trying to build spaceships. Space gives away the title, yes. You're attempting to build spaceships, and the first person to kind of get 40 spaceship points wins. And you have an entire row in front of you. I think it's up to 12 bays, and depending on what numbers are rolled, you'll get the bonus that corresponds to that bay, which can also work on your opponent's rolls, which I think is probably the really awesome feature of this game. We enjoyed it a lot. You can upgrade your ships as you go through the game. Nothing too complicated. I felt it ran a little bit long, but then again, there was only the first game, and you know, the first game when you're just figuring stuff out and putting things together the right way. I assume the next game will be a little quicker, but it was definitely a good choice. And then Flam Rouge. So Flam Rouge is your two little cyclists. You have like a sprinter and a roulette. I think I tried reading the word. God knows what it is. You have two cyclists, and it's a race. And you have a deck of cards that you have to go through to decide basically how fast you're going to go. It seemed to me very much like other racing games. Didn't seem that special. It focuses a lot more on hand management. So if you're into stuff like that, maybe that'll be good. I do think it will play much better with more people, because it has this kind of slipstreaming technique where if there's one gap between you and the player in front of you, you get to like sneak in behind them, and it works for like an entire group of cyclists. So yet again, you can see why that might be better with more players. I'd like to play it again. I feel like I didn't really fully understand how my deck worked until after I played an entire game with it. That didn't stop me from winning. I won both games, by the way. I usually win a game the first time I play it, and then after that it's all downhill. Don't know if it's beginner's luck or it's just I have good base strategies, and then when people develop real ones they crush me. Don't really know. But yeah, so those two arrived yesterday, just in time for the end of the month. Alright, so games we've been playing this month. Haven't played many games this month at all, sadly, because as I said, you know, I've been sick, and a lot of the games I have been playing have been these kind of Kickstarter games or the review copies, because you know, Essen is coming and I want to have kind of everything ready. Some of the standouts though from this month from the games we have managed to play have to be Gills of London. That was a really nice surprise, but more importantly an important vindication, because my husband didn't think the game could be any good, you know, because it was so cheap, and it turned out he absolutely loved it. So my streak of choosing awesome games continues. Who knew? So I like that a lot. We also played it with a friend of ours, and he really liked it too, and he was like, why is this game a tenner? I have to get my own copy. So it's like an infection at this point. You can spread Gills of London to your friends. Totally worth it. Other game I've been playing a lot this month has been BattleCon. So those of you who don't know, BattleCon is a card game of a two-player fighting game. You know, like in, you know, Street Fighter or something like that. You and your opponent both have characters, and they have special abilities and special decks for how they play, and you beat each other up on a 2D board. Now, BattleCon itself is a really fun two-player game, I have to say. I really like it. It's very tactical, but it's also the kind of game that if you lost, you wouldn't mind, because you got to do cool things. I really enjoyed, even though I'm not particularly good at it. My husband beats me so bad at BattleCon. To be fair, he beats me at most things. I think he's good at games. But this month, BattleCon Online became available on Steam, meaning you can play the game on your computer for free. Woo! And so when it came out, I was really excited, because I was like, maybe I can practice, you know, I'll eventually get good enough to beat my husband. And when I started playing games against random people, I won. And I won a good bit, and I was really surprised, and I shouldn't have been, because you know when you play against someone who's just really, really good, and you don't realise that they're really good, and you play against somebody else and you go, wow, I'm actually not half bad at this. It's, you know, it's my husband's fault for being so good that makes me look worse, when really I'm pretty alright. So I've been enjoying that. It's not... I haven't found it as addictive as something like Hearthstone, where you want to go back every day and play more games. But if you haven't tried BattleCon before, I definitely recommend looking it out and seeing what you think of it. And the other thing is that there is now a BattleCon Kickstarter, well, available on Kickstarter, which has like all of the previous characters all in one box and a new expansion, and we were looking into that. Now you may notice I don't talk about Kickstarters a lot, apart from the ones I review. I don't normally buy them. We're just not patient enough for that. If it's not ready within 6 months, I don't really want to buy it, which is terrible. But we were really seriously discussing about getting the big box of BattleCon, and it would be, which would have, you know, a lot of variety in characters to play, because that's the only variety in the game, is the different characters. And we thought about it, and we looked at the price and how long it was going to be, and he said maybe people will sell off kind of their old boxes of, I think it's Fate of Indines or Devastation of Indines, whatever one we don't own, we have the little box. And sure enough, we were able to buy a second-hand version of the older box, so that probably won't be here sadly till next month, but it'll be the start of next month. But it's good to see, or to watch out, when a Kickstarter comes out for basically just a slightly blingier version of another game where the rules haven't really changed or anything, to look out for secondhand versions of people getting rid of when they're buying the new version. So yeah, that should be exciting. Hopefully more BattleCon. You know, it's not the one you take out every night, but it's just kind of fun once in a while. I feel like it's the kind of game that we will go back to on occasion, and so that was good. Managed to get in another game of Pulsar 2849. What's with the number? I know it's supposed to be the year you're in the future, but Pulsar is the only game, don't laugh, it's the only game where I read the rulebook and taught my husband how to play it. And we've had Pulsar actually a good number of months, but when it arrived, I'd been thinking a lot about how to explain things in my video. How do you explain the rules to people, or how do you explain what a game's about? And I thought that if I could at least learn the rules to one game and learn how to explain it succinctly, or, you know, in the right order to somebody else, that it would be a really positive thing. And it is something I wish I was better at. So who, you know, learns the rules in your house? Is it you? How do you go about it, and then how do you explain it to others? My brain a lot of the time feels like I'm rubbing two pieces of cotton wool together, which is why I don't normally tackle rule books. And even if I did, I think, and this is a debate that's come up on Twitter, which Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules has brought up, is kind of the way about bad rule books. And I was thinking, for me, what would be the ideal rule book? And I'd love to hear your own response to this. You know, what would be the perfect rule book for you? And I think for me, I want a rule book that tells me how to set up the game and then walks me through the first turn. You know, like in tutorials in video games where they do like a little practice scenario with you, just so you learn how everything works, and then they let you off on your own. I'd love something like that, but I find just full text rulebooks very difficult to go with, and I'm not a huge fan of videos either. I find it very hard to watch somebody play a game because I'd rather play it myself. So I'm caught in between, but anyway, all of this aside, Pulsar is the only game I read the rulebook for and tried to learn, you know, how to explain it to my husband. So when we pulled it out for its second try, and we've been meaning to that for ages, I actually remembered most of it. I was pretty proud of myself. Pulsar is a very big game on the table. It takes up tons of space, but it always feels quick. It never feels like that game takes forever. I always wish I had more time. And Pulsar is basically you kind of claiming little planets and rolling dice to have upgrades and victory points and things like that. I'm not explaining it very well, I'll be honest, because there's a lot to it, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know. But Pulsar is a pretty great space game for sure, and I'm glad we got another go at it. It instantly made us want to play it again. So there's that. And then the other games we've been playing is Oaxaca. Oaxaca Crafts and Culture. I hope that's it again. I definitely want to play more of that. I had a lot of fun with that game. I just love all the little custom parts. I like the setting. I love the colours. There's something just cheery about it. Do you have a game that just makes you smile when you pull it down? Let me know what that game is. I'm looking for more kind of light and fun games or easy to play games, and I think both Flam Rouge and Space Base have fit into that category. I have a tendency to like heavier games, but my brain doesn't always agree with me, so it's nice to have something kind of in between. Now this video is going on for absolutely ever, which is really annoying. Okay, so onto the portion that would be my wish list. Yeah, no wish list, ban on wish list till Essen. I will talk specifically about my Essen wish list just before I go. That's going to be the video for that week, so you know, you can get an idea of what I was thinking or what I'm hoping I can acquire with my small amount of funds. But what are you guys looking forward to right now? What do you think is going to be the most interesting game out of Essen? Is there anything you think I should be like looking at or picking up? I'd really like to hear that actually. That would be exciting. Okay, so in the final kind of roundup to this month, what else has happened this month? Oh yeah, what do you make of the new logo? Isn't it lovely? You know, when I started Board Game Inquisition, I literally kind of threw it together very fast because I'll be honest, I didn't think it was something I was going to stick at. And I'm still here, I suppose, and that's a great thing, all in itself, which has surprised me. And I'd like to think we're going from strength to strength. I made it past 100 subscribers. It turned out all I had to do was ask. Aren't you people wonderful? You know, that really got to me as well. No, more sad moments. More sad moments. Oh man, I was so chuffed with the amount of people who came out of the woodwork to kind of support me and help me get to the 100 subscribers. The new logo is made by my best friend Anna. I hope she'll put together a website or a Facebook page soon so you can see the rest of her awesome work, or if you want something made for yourself, maybe she could do that, but for now we have to wait. But I love that she brought something out in that logo that I hadn't seen within my own kind of work, and she focused on, you know, the Inquisitor being, you know, someone who's inquisitive. And when I initially set up the channel, I liked the idea of, you know, playing on the Monty Python idea, you know, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. And I didn't mean it in kind of any religious way or anything serious. I actually meant it as a joke. But also because Inquisitor is someone who's inquisitive, and that's definitely me. I'm a philosopher through and through. I studied philosophy for many years. Probably not too long. No, I like it, and it's the way I approach the world, and it's the way I approach my collection and board games. I love asking questions of them and hopefully providing kind of information and insight to everyone else. And I love that she figured that out with the magnifying glass and the hat, which I think really looks like a hat from Final Fantasy. Feel free to shout out if you noticed that. So, and by having the new logo, it kind of made me think a little bit more about what I'm doing with Board Game Inquisition. And I want to focus more on this kind of inquisitiveness aspect, you know, asking questions, and less on the joking around with the Monty Python theme. As much as entertaining and all as it is sometimes, definitely to see that. But it made me think about, you know, what I'm capable of doing, what I'm happy doing, and how to give this all longevity so that it's not a kind of a flash in the pan affair. And I just kind of tidied everything up a bit, and I think it helped me a lot to be able to say, this is what I want to do, this isn't what I want to do. and delineating like that has helped me mentally, but I think it'll also help strengthen my channel, and I want to focus more on these kind of specific attributes instead of just doing everything and anything, right? And so other than that, that's pretty much been my month. I changed around what I called our games room. So where I used to film everything was like the box room in our house, and it was really awkward with all of the lights and things because I kept getting the lights reflected in my glasses. You may have noticed that. It was like the bane of my existence. So my amazing husband, in an effort to cheer me up, said, oh, we'll swap some of the rooms around instead. And so now I have what I'm calling a studio, which is the largest kind of upstairs room in our house, and now all the board games live here and all my lights are here, and I have room to kind of set up the camera and move around. It's very exciting. It's also very daunting. I'm not used to this much space yet, but it's like, I don't know, things are changing and things are moving, and I think it's in a good direction. I just need to be comfortable with the changes, you know, if that makes sense. So next month is, you know, spiel. I'm going to Essen, hopefully, all going well, but I've got a lot of things to look forward to. Things are settling down, and I hope it'll be a less tumultuous month than September has been. So how has your September been? What have you been playing? Tell me, I want to know. What's been the standout game from the month? Is there anything you tried that really surprised you? Is there anything you played that was a complete letdown? What other cool, did you make any trades? I love hearing about trades or stuff you're excited about. So I hope to hear from you in the comments, or maybe in your own monthly roundup videos. I think it's important to think about your collection, people, or you don't really know where it's going, or you're going to end up with a kind of a whole bunch of stuff that maybe you don't play as often as you'd like, or maybe you end up with a bunch of games that you don't play at all, or maybe you realize I've got 5 games I really wish I played more of, and I'm going to do that this month. So yeah, so my quest to you is to go out, look at your collection. What are you excited about? And come back and tell me, and then go play it. So thank you for watching. This is Board Game Inquisition, and I'll be talking to you soon, guys. Have a great week. Take care. Bye bye.